Example 8 asks us to use the binomial theorem in order to kind of expand these expressions that you'll see. One is a binomial, one's a trinomial, so we're just going to look at the different techniques that you would need to use to find those. So the first one is 1 minus x to the 10th power. Well, our binomial theorem was, again, showing that we could think about using factorials and using our combinations to figure out those coefficients that we would need to expand something this large. So it all kind of relies on that number there, your exponent, and so we use that to our advantage to build our binomial. So it says to use the first 4 terms. So for this one right here, we would start off, it's going to be 10, choose 0, times 1 to the 10th power, times negative x to the 0. And then we have 10, choose 1, times 1 to the 9th, times negative x to the 1st. And then we have 10, to choose 2, times 1 to the 8th, times negative x squared. And then we have 10, choose 3, 1 to the 7th, negative x cubed. And so we have that built out in that pattern. Now we just have to go through and simplify. The hard part is going to be, getting those numbers, but eventually there's a pattern and you kind of see where it's going. 10 choose 0, remember we worked on this, 10 factorial over 0 factorial times 10 minus 0 factorial. So this is going to be 10 factorial over 10 factorial, which is just going to be 1. So this is 1. This is 1. That is 1. This is just a big 1. Then we add second to it. So 10 factorial. So this is 10 factorial over 1 factorial times 9. So this number is going to be 10 factorial over 9 factorial. The difference between them is just a multiple of 10. So this is going to be a 10. Not 1 to the 9th is 1. And then you have times negative x. So how does that affect that? Well, instead of negative x, this is going to be now a minus 10x. That's it. Then we are adding again. And we'll remember that since this was negative, we're going to know that one's going to also be negative because it's going to alternate. And so then we have 10 choose 2. So this one becomes a little bit different. 10 choose 2 is going to look like this. So the difference between these two terms right here is a 10 times a 9. And if we divide that by 2, you should end up with the number 45. Again, you can use the calculator too if you like to. So that number is 45. And then we have negative x squared, so that's x squared. And we're going to remember that's a minus. So 10 choose 3, that would be 10 factorial over 3 factorial 7 factorial. So the difference between those is going to be, we have 10, 9, 8 divided by 3 times 2. So again, we can think of this, this is a 3 together, 9 over 3, and 2 over 8. So we've got 10 times 3 times 4, which is 120. So a couple of tricks you can use to solve them pretty quickly, but again, you use the calculator, whatever you like to do, that's fine. So this is how we would build our polynomial from there. So having to multiply this out to get this would be a gigantic pain, but we know this theorem, we've noticed the patterns, we can outsmart it a little. Now the second one is a little different. We have 1 minus x plus 2x squared. So we have 1 minus x plus 2x squared to the 10th power. So again, we can use our numbers up here to help us. That's going to help drastically. And so from here, we know that we try to call this 1 plus, or excuse me, 1 right? We needed to factor an x out. So this would be right. So this would be our number there. Now you could also switch some signs and we could make that a little different, but we'll keep it as it is for that. So it's going to follow a very similar pattern to what we just did for the last problem. So we had our 10 choose 0. We have 1 to the 10th. We have our negative x times 1 minus 2x. Or actually, hold on, excuse me. I still think it was better to just consider this as a whole term. I'm going to actually rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite this slightly, sorry, as 1 plus 2x squared minus x to the 10th, and consider this as these are my two terms. So I get the 10 choose 0 times 1 to the 10th times 2x squared minus x to the 0. And then we go plus 10 choose 1 times 1 to the 9th times 2x squared minus x to the 1st plus 10 choose 3 times 2x times 1 to the 8th times 2x squared minus x squared. And that should cover what we need. We knew that this was 1, 1, and 1, so we get a big 1. We do plus, this number was 10, so we got 10, and then 1 times 2x squared minus x. And then we had 10 choose 3, that was 45. And so we get plus 45 times 2x squared minus x squared. So now we can simplify. This is 1 plus 20x squared minus 10x. This is going to be plus 45 times 4x to the 4th minus 4x cubed plus x squared. And so if we just keep simplifying, this is 180 x to the 4th minus 180 x cubed plus 45 x squared. And we should be able to combine some like terms here. I'm going to get 1. We get a minus 10x. We have plus 65 x squared. We have minus 180 x cubed plus 180 x to the 4th. So this covers all of our answers here. This one is a little more complicated than the top one, but trinomials are going to be much more difficult when we expand them out.